Hey everyone, so I'm going to show you guys how to do some master key, master lock systems, whatever you want to call them. I've got me a couple yaw locks with some yaw keys. And yeah, I'm just going to show you guys kind of what you got to do a master key or master lock system. If I seem like I'm stepping or walking all funny, I've got a wood burning stove underneath my workbench. I'm trying to figure out where to put it. So I'm still kind of in the process of getting things set up in here. But yeah, so, and it's kind of like right in my way. Anyways, so take your lock, okay? When you do this, make sure that when you're, whatever locks you're choosing to do, make sure they have keys, okay? If they don't have keys, I would recommend choosing a different lock. Even go buy a new lock set. Like, you know, as long as the lock set you get, you have a different type of key for it. So let me take this out real quick. Okay. So when you look at these keys, they're just ever so slightly different in the cuts, all right? Which means I don't have to do too much to them when I do the master pin, when I swap the pins out. Then we'll need some tweezers, okay? Get some tweezers. Get your rekey sleeve, okay? You can buy these on Amazon. You can actually even go to like Home Depot and stuff, and they sell rekey, like it's a small rekey kit, and it's just enough. Like it comes with keys, it comes with a sleeve, and it comes with just enough pins to rekey a lock to whatever keys in that package. The only downside of it is all those kits have the same key, pretty much, majority of them. 99% of them do. So if it's a temporary thing, cool, go ahead and do it. But if you're looking for a permanent solution, either go buy like a professional rekey kit or just hire a locksmith, okay? You know, we're happy to do it. Okay, flathead screwdriver, you're gonna want one of these. And I use the Lab 3000s kit, professional rekey kit. And it even has, so when you look on here, okay, these are just all the different types of lock brands and stuff. And it'll show you, you know, the depth cut, code number, bottom pin, master pin, top pin that you would need to use when you're gonna do like master key stuff. So, or even rekey stuff. I don't use those charts because it seems like every time I've done that, it's always off just a little bit to where it like messes things up. So I do the pick and play, kind of like I mentioned in the last video. Yeah, I mentioned it in the last video how I kind of just do like a pick and play thing where I pull them out and I'll slide them in as I go. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this guy keys out, got your flathead screwdriver. In the back end here, okay, there's a C-clip pretty much on every single lock that you're gonna do, whether it's rekeying or whatever. There's always usually a C-clip holding it in place. Sometimes there's just screws. You'll have screws kind of up here on a plate that you can take off. But with this style, they do C-clips. I'm used to the C-clips. It is nice when it's just the screws though, because C-clips aren't always fun to play with. What I'll do is I'll kind of push on the sides just a little bit, a couple times on each side, just to kind of get it out enough, because usually on the bottom here, there's a little gap. Here, once it's enough, you can stick your screwdriver in there and just kind of pry out a little bit. Sometimes. Yeah, so you can just pry it out just a little bit, you know, just enough so you can get your screwdriver in there. And then I usually try to just push down and hold towards, so it's facing the bottom. And I pull on the cylinder more to pull it off. That way my C-clip doesn't like shoot out and bounce around when I lose my C-clip, because these are annoying to try to find, and I don't like trying to replace them. So now we're going to take our key, put the key in the lock. Okay, maybe. Okay, it is the one that turns it. And what I do is I just turn it. Okay, 45 degrees, whatever that is. 90, I don't know, I guess that'd be 90 degrees, whatever. Just turn it to the side, okay, so it's horizontal. Then you're going to take your sleeve, and with this guy, with the way these are designed, okay, this sleeve has this little slot in it. And if you guys don't remember, in the last video I made a comment how I'm going to need to alter this. A couple videos ago, I think, actually. I had to alter this one a little bit. You can get kits that have different size sleeves, but I had to alter it because I needed a smaller size, and I only have the one sleeve because I keep forgetting to order more. So you're going to take this and you're going to put this guy on here just like that, okay, and then just slowly push through. All right, make sure it's nice and tight. And there we go. I altered it just enough so I have enough room to use this sleeve on these locks. Yeah, I really got to get me a new set. So, okay, as you're doing this, right, when, like I've said in other videos, you know, when you're setting your pins in, they need to be flush with that cylinder. So this is going to be our key 1, okay. We're going to take this key from this other lock. When you do this, just slide your key 2 in, okay. And this one's going to be annoying. Let's see if I find a different key real quick. So a lot of times if you have a key, when you stick your key 2 in, if the pins stick up higher, it makes it a little bit more challenging because you got to do some other things to it. Like you got to change more pins, and it's more of a process if they're higher than if they're lower. So, because if they're lower after you stick your key 2 in, then it's just a matter of it's just a matter of sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Putting pins in to where if it's taller, then you have to play this whole game of trying to find, you gotta like switch back and forth between the keys a lot. Sorry, I get easily and overly distracted, especially when I'm doing this stuff, because you want to be able, you gotta focus really good. So, okay, we're gonna use that key, I guess. But yeah, so because yeah, I like it when I can just stick a key in, and when the pins are lower, all I got to do is put the secondary pins in, and it makes it a lot easier to where when they stick out like this, then that means I have to pull that out, and I have to look for pins that are gonna match both keys, which can get kind of difficult sometimes. Because then, like, so in this case, I have to find a smaller pin. But usually what I do, so when I start out, I always, I'll start putting the pins in. So in this case, I'm going to start putting pins in for pin 2, pin 3, and pin 5, because pin 1 and pin 4 are sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to have to alter those, or well, find ones that are going to work a little bit better. So, and the thing that sucks with when you're doing master pin stuff is some of these pins, let me show you here. These pins can get so, some of them are so thin, okay, that I'm having a hard time grabbing them with my tweezers. Okay, but look at this guy, okay? So that is small, okay? That is super small, super thin. The thing that sucks with them though is they can get very, like, one, you can lose them, which is the annoying part. And then just trying to find them again. But one of the really annoying things is just when you do get your locks all done and everything, it's not very secure, okay? So if you can use longer pins, preferably, so let me show you guys. This is a good one to use as an example. Okay, this guy is a lot thicker, okay? Just to show you, so the first one I showed you is a 0.024, okay? So that guy's a 0.024. To where this guy, you can actually see it in my fingers a little bit. Okay, this one is a 0.072. All right, so a lot thicker, you know, longer wires from top to bottom. If you can use a longer one, a thicker one, whatever you want to say, I don't have proper terminology. It will allow for better, like, for it being a little bit better secure. So, because yeah, if you use smaller ones, doesn't always make it that secure. Just because then you can usually, especially like, so most of the time when you're doing master key, master lock systems, right? You're trying to, you know, create a way so that, you know, say it's an office building, right? And you're the big boss. You want everyone to have keys for, you know, their office and the front door per se, you know, but you don't want their key to work on your door or whatever kind of thing. Or an easier way to say it is like, so say if you're, you know, same thing, right? Office building, but say the only doors are the front door and your office door, but you don't want just people being able to walk into your office, you know, but you want your key to open your office and the front door. If these pins, so I mean, like, it's super small, like, sometimes with them being so small, just that the other key, say the key that everyone else has, will still open up your office door. if all the pins are like super small. To where this, I mean, there's going to be some differences, like because pin 5 and pin 2 are going to use deeper pins. So yeah, and a lot of what I'm doing is just a guessing game. But yeah, so when you're doing this, okay, so see, these are starting to line up. All right, pin 5's lined up, pin 3's lined up. When you're doing this, so when I put, so this is key 2 that's in here. When I go to put key 1 in, it's going to push all these pins up to where the top pin and the spring are, to where them other pins, the bottom pins, are lined up with the cylinder so it can turn. And that's what allows, so all you're doing is you're just lining your pins up so that they're aligned with the cylinder properly to open up. And of course, that's all based on whatever depth your key is cut to. And yes, if you don't have a key, you can pick the lock and do this. Like, say if originally when you're going to do it, you don't have a key, like you have a key that'll work for it, it just ain't gonna unlock it. Do that initial unlock. I mean, you can pick the lock and everything. It's just gonna be a lot harder. And then depending on the lock and stuff too, like it's very difficult. So now I've got pin 2, I have pin 3, and I have pin 5 that are all ready to go. So pin 1 and pin 4, this is the annoying part, okay? So looking at this, I try to eyeball how much is like kind of left over on hanging on these so that I try to look for a pin that's going to let me show you guys real quick. So see how, let me see here. I don't know if you guys can see super well, but see how like pin 1's sticking out. So I try to look at like how much is sticking out, and that's what I use as my gauge in a sense. So like this pin 1, you know, I'm gonna pull it out and take kind of look at it, and I'm gonna try and find something that's gonna be that short so what I'm doing now when I'm doing this is, since these pins are longer than they are for like key 1, I gotta find pins that are going to be level pretty much. So yeah, these pins that I'm putting in are going to be level for this key, which means when I put key 1 in, the pins are going to drop. Yeah, so see, now that pin's set in there. Let me make sure. Okay, like that. We're going to pull that guy out. Okay, and it's a little bit longer. So maybe this guy will work. Oh, too short. Let's go with this one. Still too short. So yeah. And again, I know I don't explain things super well, so if you guys do have any questions or comments or whatever, like, feel free to reach out and ask. Okay. I'm more than willing to try and help out. Okay, so all the pins. Okay, and remember, so pin 1 and pin 4 are just, there's only one pin in there. To where pin 2, pin 3, and pin 5 all have the same, like they have a bottom pin, they have a master pin, which is what's in the middle there, and then the top pin is in the housing there. Okay. Also, when I don't know if you guys know this, when I'm saying pin 1, yada yada. So when you're doing this and you're holding, okay, you're holding your key, where your key side that your key goes into is on your left side, and then that's how you count. So you start from that side, from the key side, and then you go to this back end here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 1 over here, 5 over here, or 6 if it's a 6-pin one or whatever. That's how you count, like which pin number you're on. So now that I've got all those keys straightened out to that, okay. Ooh, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. And again, like I said too, so these small master pins, be very careful when you are like pulling your key out doing this, because they like to, they'll fall out. Okay, now we got that done. So now we're going to take key 1. So this is the original key that we started with on this lock. We're gonna, and this is where it gets super tricky too, because a lot of them pins are going to be sitting right on the top. So you gotta be, I mean, you're balancing this pretty much. Like, you gotta be super careful, okay? Like, I don't even want to come stick this up to the camera because I'm so scared. Oh, man. I don't want everything falling down. I need to get a lock caddy so I can set all this stuff in there and let it be a little more secure. Mother trucker. So yeah, because like as I'm doing this, the one I just put in is like just a tad bit too short, and so I'm like trying to hold them all together so they don't fall off and get that pin out. And now it's probably gonna stick to my finger. Nope, I got it. Cool. Okay. But yeah, see, I mean, like they're sitting on top, and I have to balance them. Another trucker. Yeah, lock caddy. If you have a lock caddy and you're doing this, or if you have a lock caddy and you don't want it, you can send it to me. Oops, mother trucker. Because yeah. Or something you can do too when you're doing this is you can set your pins that are going to be resting on there. Kind of maybe grab a piece of paper and like set them in. Okay. I'm gonna pull the key out now because I got it so that them other pins are all flat and level. Okay. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we got all the pins in. All the pins are in there. Okay, I'm not gonna stick the keys in there again just because I don't want to play the balancing game. All right. We're gonna. This is why too, like, because this can take a really long time sometimes. This is why doing this stuff, like doing master key or master lock systems, this is why it can cost a lot of money. So I charge $120, okay, per lock. And especially like, cause some of these pins are like super small. And a lot of times too, like, so let me set this down real quick. So I mean, like I was showing you the one pin, right? It was a 0.024. The smallest pin smallest pin that I have in here is a 0.0110, which if I have another set of tweezers or pliers or whatever, but it's all locked up and I don't feel like trying to grab it right now. But I don't know if you guys can see the one on my hand. Okay, look how much more, like this one's super small. Okay, like when they start on it, like even the 0.024, which is, I did use that in one of these slots, that's about as small as I really want to go. If I end up doing a master lock or whatever master key for you and I have to go any smaller than that 0.024, like if I start going to the 0.020, 0.015, or 0.010, it's really not going to work out really well just because they're so thin that you might as well not even have them there. Like, then the only reason they're really put in there is just because there's just enough gap in it to where it can catch the top pin. So you have to have it in there. Like, I mean, just a hair of a fracture, right? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put this guy in there now. The back end of this down here is like tweaked a little bit, and so I'm having a difficult time getting this in there. Okay, there we go. Maybe. We're gonna take a commercial break real quick. Okay, so I know it was just sticking really bad. I couldn't get it in there, but I had to pinch that little corner piece that was tweaked out a little bit, so it slide in properly. Okay, get that in there. Should have kept my pliers out. So with these C-clips, when you go to put them back on, because when you pull them off, they kind of bend out a little bit. So what I usually like to do, just get a pair of pliers and ever so gently, just slightly squeeze it. Okay, you don't have to do it too tight, just enough to where it's kind of back to its original form, so it sits on there nice and secure. And then go ahead and put that back on. Okay. Now for the fun part, we got to test it out and make sure it works all good. So, I'm gonna this is the original key. Woohoo, it works. Honestly, I was really scared I was going to do that and it wasn't going to work and everyone was going to see that. And then I'd have to like delete the video and like start all over and like, yeah. So, yeah, so that one works, okay? That key, all right, I'm going to set it down right here. Here's this key. I'm going to try and make sure it stays in the camera just so you guys can see that I am using a different key. And it works. It's a little sticks a couple times here and there, but you know, I kind of got to push in a little bit, which that's something normal. But yeah, so see, and then same key. I've got this key. This is a different lock here, and it's opening this one. Okay, this is a different key, and it doesn't open it. Okay, so opens that one, doesn't open that one. This one opens that one, and it opens that one. So in this instance, this will be your master key. But yeah, now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna put all the pins away, which might be dumb, but yeah. Okay, well, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Feel free to reach out. You can call, text, email, or if you just want to check out our prices and the services, go onto our website, cowboysecurityllc.square.site. Remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. Yeah, I think that's about everything. Remember, first 50 people to subscribe and comment 50 on any of our videos will qualify for 50% off, and that is valid for 3 months after you do that. Okay, so if people don't start doing that soon, I'm just gonna get rid of that deal. So yeah, that's 50% off. Like, my family doesn't even get that kind of deal. So if you want the deal, you should do it now and plan to get your locks changed within the next 3 months. So yeah, or any kind of locksmithing service, whatever it is, master key, you want rekeys, you want lock replacements, 50% off. So remember, you got to subscribe and comment 50 on any of the videos though. So and you got to live in Wyoming. So that's the hard part, because I got a lot of Utah people. So, but eventually I do plan on venturing out to Utah. I'm actually going to do a different video where I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see you there. Y'all have a good one. Take care and stay warm.